They told me to remove my boat or pay $500 a week. But they didn't know I owned the marina their boats were in. So I built a fence around MY Marina and locked them all out. Now they're begging me to let them use their boats. Before watching full stories, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. I never wanted trouble. All I wanted was to enjoy my boat and my new home in peace. But some people just can't help pushing others around, especially when they get a little power. This is the story of how the Sunset Cove Homeowners Association tried to bully me, and how they learned a lesson they'll never forget. It was a beautiful Monday morning when I found the notice stuck to my front door. The bright red letters screamed, "Violation," across the top of the page. I ripped it off and read it right there on my porch, still wearing my bathrobe and holding my coffee. Your green boat at slip number 28 violates HOA color regulations. Remove it within 7 days or face a $500 weekly fine. I almost spilled my coffee. My boat? The one I'd saved 5 years to buy? The one that had been sitting in that exact same spot for the past 2 years without any problems? I immediately called the HOA office. After being on hold for 20 minutes, a woman with a sharp voice finally answered. Sunset Cove HOA, this is Karen Williams speaking. Hello, Mrs. Williams. This is Tom Jackson from 452 Harbor Drive. I just got a violation notice about my boat color, but there's never been any rule about boat colors before. Well, there is now, she said with a smug tone. The board passed it last month. All boats must be white, navy blue or black. Your bright green boat looks cheap. It brings down property values. My blood pressure started rising. I've had this boat for 2 years. Nobody has ever complained. And I never received any notice about a new rule. We sent an email last month, she said. Check your spam folder. And honestly, Mr. Jackson, that boat is an eyesore. The board is being generous, giving you a whole week to deal with it. It would cost thousands to repaint it properly, I said. And I'd need to find a specialized marine painter, which could take weeks to schedule. Not our problem, Karen replied. 7 days or the fines begin. And if you ignore the fines, we can put a lien on your house. I suggest you start making calls right away. She hung up before I could respond. I stood there in my kitchen, staring at the phone, feeling the anger build inside me. Who did these people think they were? I'd bought my house in Sunset Cove 2 years ago after finally getting a promotion at work. It wasn't the biggest house in the neighborhood, but with its view of the marina and private dock access, it was perfect for me. The main selling point had been the boat slip that came with the property, where I could keep my 28-foot fishing boat, my pride and joy. The HOA fees were high at $350 per month, but the agent had assured me it covered all maintenance of the common areas and the marina. What she hadn't mentioned was how power-hungry and unreasonable the HOA board could be. I decided to read through all my homeowner documents again to see if they could really force me to remove or repaint my boat on such short notice. That night, I spread all my property papers across my dining table. Purchase agreement, mortgage documents, property survey, and the deed to my house. I read everything carefully, looking for any mention of boat regulations. Around midnight, as I was about to give up, I noticed something strange in the property survey. According to the map, my property line didn't end at my dock as I'd assumed. The line extended out into the water, encompassing not just my boat slip, but a significant portion of the shared marina. I pulled out the deed and read it again carefully. The legal description confirmed what the survey showed. When I bought my house, I had also purchased ownership of part of the marina itself. The previous owner must not have realized this, or maybe they just never cared. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I owned approximately 2 acres of the marina, including the main dock where at least 15 other homeowners kept their boats, plus the boat ramp that everyone used to launch their vessels. As I sat there looking at the documents, a plan started forming in my mind. If the HOA wanted to play hardball over my boat, I could play too, and I had a much stronger hand than they realized. The next morning, I called my friend Mike, who owned a local law firm where I'd worked briefly after college. Mike, I need a quick legal opinion, I said after explaining the situation. If I own this portion of the marina according to my deed, can I restrict access to it? Absolutely, Mike said without hesitation. If it's your property and there's no easement or right-of-way agreement in place, you have the legal right to control access. The HOA might argue they've had implied access for years, but that wouldn't hold up well in court given you've only owned it for 2 years and weren't aware of your full ownership rights. Perfect, I said. And one more thing. Can you recommend a good fencing company that works fast? For the next few days I acted normally. I went to work, waved at neighbors, and even took my boat out fishing on Wednesday afternoon. Karen from the HOA called twice to remind me that I had only a few days left to remove my non-compliant vessel. I'm working on a solution, I told her each time. Don't worry, by Monday morning, this won't be an issue anymore. She seemed pleased with that, probably assuming I'd given in. What she didn't know was that I'd hired a surveying company to mark my exact property boundaries and scheduled a fencing company to arrive early Monday morning. On Sunday night I could barely sleep. Part of me worried I was overreacting, but another part felt like this was about more than just my boat. It was about standing up to bullies who made arbitrary rules just because they could. The HOA had been getting more controlling each month, issuing fines for grass half an inch too tall or trash cans left out an hour too long. Someone needed to push back. At 6 a.m. Monday, exactly 1 week after receiving the violation notice, 4 trucks from Johnson's Fencing and Security pulled up to the marina. The workers quickly unloaded steel fence posts, heavy-duty chain-link fencing, and a large gate. The surveyor was already there, showing them exactly where my property lines ran. By 7:30 a.m., they had already installed the fence posts around the perimeter of my marina property. By 9 a.m., they were attaching the chain-link fencing. And by 10:30 a.m., they had installed a heavy gate at the entrance with a digital keypad lock. I stood watching as they finished their work, hanging a large sign that read. Just as they were packing up to leave, I saw Ted Barnes from 3 houses down walking toward the marina with his fishing gear. He stopped dead in his tracks when he saw the fence. "Tom? What the hell is this?" he asked, looking confused. "Morning, Ted," I said casually. "Just securing my property." "Your property?" "This is the community marina." "Actually, no. It turns out this section of the marina is legally part of my property. Has been since I bought the house, I just didn't realize it until recently. But don't worry, if you want to use your boat, I can give you the gate code." Ted looked shocked. "Does the HOA know about this?" "They will soon enough," I said with a smile. "In fact, I think I hear Karen's phone ringing right about now." Sure enough, within 30 minutes my phone was blowing up with calls. First from Karen, then from other HOA board members, then from angry neighbors who couldn't access their boats. I let most go to voicemail, but I did answer Karen's call. "What have you done?" she screamed without even saying hello. "Good morning, Karen," I said calmly. "I've secured my private property, as is my legal right. That marina belongs to the community. You can't just fence it off." "Actually, I can. I've reviewed my deed and property survey very carefully. The section I've fenced is legally mine. Your HOA has been using my property without permission or compensation for 2 years. This is outrageous. I'm calling the police." "Feel free," I replied. "I have all the documentation ready to show them. And my lawyer is on standby." She hung up. 30 minutes later, 2 police cars pulled up outside my house. Officer Rodriguez, whom I'd met at a community barbecue last summer, looked uncomfortable as he approached me. "Mr. Jackson, we've received complaints about you blocking access to the community marina," he said. "I understand, officer," I said politely. "But I haven't blocked any community property. I've simply secured my own private property. Let me show you." I brought out copies of my deed, the property survey, and a letter from Mike's law firm confirming my ownership rights. Officer Rodriguez read through everything carefully. "Well," he said finally, "this appears to be a civil matter, not criminal. The documents do show this is your property. We can't force you to allow access to private property." Karen, who had been watching from across the street, stormed over when she saw the police weren't taking action. "This is absurd," she shouted. "There are 15 boats trapped in there. People can't get to their own property." "The boats can be removed by water," I pointed out. "And I'm willing to allow temporary access for people to retrieve their property. But going forward, this marina is private." Officer Rodriguez looked between us and sighed. "Ma'am, like I said, this is a civil matter. You'll need to consult with the HOA attorney." He turned to me. "Mr. Jackson, while what you're doing appears legal, I'd encourage you to try to work something out with your neighbors." "I'm very open to discussion," I said with a smile. "The HOA just needs to be reasonable." That evening an emergency HOA meeting was called. Usually, these meetings attracted maybe 10 residents out of the 100 homes in our community. This one packed the community center with almost every homeowner present. Karen gavelled the meeting to order, her face still red with anger. "As you all know, we have a situation with the marina," she began. "Mr. Jackson has taken hostile action against our community by fencing off access to the shared marina facilities." I raised my hand, and when Karen reluctantly acknowledged me, I stood up. "What Karen isn't telling you is why I did this," I said loudly. Last week, I received a violation notice ordering me to remove my boat because of its color, a rule that was quietly passed without proper notice to residents. When I explained that repainting would be expensive and time-consuming, I was told, and I quote, "Not our problem." I looked around the room. The HOA has become increasingly restrictive and unreasonable. Last month, the Wilsons were fined because their grass was half an inch too tall while they were on vacation. Before that, Mrs. Chin received a violation for having wind chimes on her porch. This isn't about maintaining property values anymore, it's about control. Many people in the room were nodding and I could see Karen squirming. But here's the good news, I continued. I'm willing to grant an easement for community access to my portion of the marina under 3 conditions. The room went quiet. First, the arbitrary boat color restriction is permanently removed. Second, all HOA rule changes must be approved by 75% of homeowners, not just the board. And third, Karen Williams resigns from the HOA board, effective immediately. Chaos erupted. Some people were shouting support for my demands while others defended Karen. The HOA attorney was frantically flipping through documents, looking increasingly concerned as he read my property paperwork. After 20 minutes of heated debate, the attorney pulled the board members into a corner for a private discussion. When they returned, the vice president, not Karen, addressed the crowd. After reviewing the documentation, our attorney confirms that Mr. Jackson does indeed own the portion of the marina he has fenced off. While we could pursue legal action, it would likely be lengthy and expensive with no guarantee of success. Karen looked like she was about to explode, but the vice president continued. Therefore, the board proposes the following. We will eliminate the boat color restriction. Future rule changes affecting property usage will require a 60% homeowner approval vote. And the board will hold new elections next month for all positions. It wasn't everything I'd asked for, but it was close enough. I stood up again. I accept those terms with one addition. The HOA will cover the legal expenses I've incurred, which come to $1,200. After another brief huddle, they agreed. By the end of the meeting, papers were signed, and I promised to remove the fence by the following afternoon. By Wednesday, the fence was gone, and neighbors could access their boats again. Some people were still angry with me, but surprisingly, most thanked me for standing up to the HOA's overreach. Karen put her house on the market the following week. Apparently, she couldn't handle living in a community where she wasn't in charge anymore. As for my bright green boat, it stayed right where it was, a symbol of victory against petty tyranny. And when the new HOA board was elected the next month, guess who won a seat by a landslide? Sometimes you have to build a fence to break down walls. And sometimes the best revenge isn't just winning, it's changing the rules of the game so everyone gets treated fairly.